Hi, Dan Thies back again with video number 3 for week 2 of Link Liberation. Influencers, speakers, and listeners. In this video, I'll talk about the roles that people play in social media: speakers, listeners, and influencers. We'll talk about climbing a ladder from being just a listener to a speaker who actually eventually becomes an influencer in their own right. And we'll talk about why social media works so well with what we're doing. So let's look at the way that social conversations play out. Social conversations are a lot like the conversations that you'll see at seminars and conferences and things like that. You'll typically find a person at the middle, an influencer, that everyone else wants to talk to. There will be a smaller group around them that they may be speaking to and who are contributing something to the conversation, and then a larger crowd of people sort of ringed around on the outside who are listening. In social channels like Twitter, everyone is listening, of course, except for the bots, because everyone is seeing the same stuff. Some people are speaking, and others are really just there to listen and not interested in speaking, and some speakers are more influential than others, and it shows. It shows because other speakers are repeating the same things that they say. What tools like Clout do is figure out how many people are listening to someone and how many people are repeating the things that they say. And that pretty much defines the characteristics of the influencer. More people are listening to them, and other speakers are listening to them and repeating what they say. But there is no clear, bright line that says, now you're an influencer or you are not. For our purposes, it's not essential to become an influencer or to become a top influencer in your topic, or even to have the approval of the influences that are out there. But it certainly helps. Speakers are the people who are out there sharing, retweeting, and actively talking about a topic. Some of them may be bots, of course, but we really don't care. If all they ever do is broadcast their own stuff, then we really don't need to engage with them. We don't need to try to build a relationship with them because, well, they're probably not people. The most important speakers to us from a Link Liberation perspective are those who share and retweet other people's stuff and who engage in conversation with others. A few speakers will form small groups, and those small groups can have a great deal of influence even if the individual speakers don't have as much influence by themselves. We call these groups cliques. Now, listeners are less likely to speak up, share, and retweet in the conversation. They're just here to listen, learn, watch, and they might be on Twitter to talk to their friends about what kind of donuts they had for breakfast, but they're listening to you because they're interested in the topic. That's okay, because they don't need to speak up to be important to us. Listeners are much more likely to become buyers than other speakers and the influencers, and listeners still push social buttons. That is, they will still go to your website and push a like button on your website that will help you build your audience. Listeners are real people, and they also have offline influence. So if they learn to like your company and you on Twitter, they might also be talking to their friends about you offline. You really have no idea where else people are talking about you. They might be on discussion forums, they might be in a lot of places. And your presence in the number one social channel means that they're going to be talking about you more often. Everyone's useful here. The point here isn't to worry about how many people that are following you on Twitter or how many people are speaking, how many people are listening, and whatever, okay? Influencers are useful because they help you find stories, and when they interact with you, it helps you to get more credibility. Other speakers are useful because they share stuff, and sometimes it will be your stuff or others. Listeners are the point of the whole show, though, for you because you need to have an audience. So most of what you do is for the audience, the people in the back of that crowd that are just there to listen. So how do you climb that ladder to become more influential? Well, the better the stories that you share are, the more people will want to listen, and that's the main thing. Building relationships with other speakers will also help increase your influence, and occasionally talking to the people in the back when they talk to you is a good way to cement the social bonds that are there between you and your audience. Social proof comes from everyone who interacts with you, follows you, and pushes buttons on Twitter and on other sites. Building an audience is just one piece of the plan here, but it's an important part. And it contributes to making many other things we do work well. All of the social media stuff is so interconnected now. So as you begin to drive traffic to your own site and your blog and create your own stories and your own content, your audience will start to grow even faster. The different social venues that you participate in, and we'll be in just about all of them before we're done here, feed into each other, and the effect accelerates as your audience grows. Here are some examples of how that works. So if I embedded an infographic from someone else that they created on my blog, I pin that to Pinterest. I share that on Twitter and on Facebook. That leads to more people following me on Pinterest. It means more traffic. It means more followers on Pinterest and Twitter, and more people following me on Facebook too. It all works together, and everything that we're doing here in Link Liberation fits together into a single strategic plan. Okay, up next, we'll talk about relationship building because that is a very important piece of our audience building strategy.